So how did you do with that activity? I bet it wasn't all that easy to move the things that you thought you wanted in your forever home into your first time home. But again, all of this is really going to help you to narrow down what it is that you're looking for in your first property, and it's going to help you to stay within your budget because it's very, very easy to get excited about all the extra things that you see in a property. We're going to get to narrowing down what is the most important for you in a property a little bit later, but this is a very good starting off point. Now, one of the reasons that I'm sure you're here taking the Home Purchasing Secrets course is because you want to have a full understanding of what's going to happen. Understand every single step in the process and really, really know how you're going to be able to go through the process of buying a property without being caught off guard every single step of the way. So what we're going to do in this module is grab the Home Purchasing Secret roadmap. It's a downloadable that I want you to grab. Go ahead, put me on pause and go and grab a copy. Great. And what we're going to do is walk through it together at a high level. We're not going to go through every single step because that's what we're going to do as we go throughout the modules, but I just want you to have an understanding or an overall roadmap of what's going to happen, what are the different phases, and why, in fact, I've sequenced them the way that they have. Because it may not be the way that you may typically think about going through the process, or as you're talking to different real estate professionals, they may suggest that you do things in a different order. And I'm going to explain to you every single step as we go throughout this course why it makes sense to do it in this particular order. But for today, we're just going to walk through it at a high level so you can at least get oriented and know what to expect and what's to come. So if you're looking at it in front of you, you'll see that there are, in fact, 4 main phases. The first phase is understanding the life changes and your financial implications. We already know buying a house is a huge, huge deal, and it's going to impact you financially, not only right now, but likely for the next 25 years, unless you pay your mortgage off faster. But regardless, it's going to have a lot of financial implications. So in Module 1 and Module 2, we're going to be focusing on these elements. And I know you're probably eager to get into the offers and the bidding, but like I said earlier, I've learned that if you do your homework up front, it makes the test easier later on. In this phase, we're really going to be focusing on your savings, your lifestyle, how it's going to change and impact your lifestyle. We're going to talk about what this means from a stability standpoint, as well as the implications of on your responsibility. I already mentioned to you that buying your first house is a very serious deal. I don't want you to try to DIY it, and that's part of this process. The second phase is about getting your real estate team in place. Who are all the people that you in fact are going to work with? Most people think they just need a mortgage broker and a realtor up front, and then later on they'll worry about getting a home inspector. Later on, after they have an accepted offer, they'll find a lawyer. But it's really, really important that you get all of those key players right up front. They can talk to each other, especially working with your lawyer right up front. You can explain your life situation. You can explain what you're hoping to get out of this. And there's actually quite a few things that a lawyer can do that if you bring them in the 11th hour after you have an accepted offer, that they can no longer help you with. So we want to make sure that you choose all of your real estate professionals right up front before you get started. And I'm going to even let you know the order that you should do those in to make sure that you're in fact set up for success. So in Module 3 and Module 4, we're really going to be focusing on all the folks you need to work with. And it's not just about listing them, it's about understanding how each one of them can save you money. It's about understanding how each one of them, when they understand your life circumstance, can help you to avoid some really, really expensive mistakes. If you get to know your real estate professionals up front, you can make sure that you have a good personality fit as you go through what will likely be a very stressful phase with putting in offers and waiting for it to be accepted and removing conditions and getting them the deposit. Some of that can be really, really stressful. And if you've built up a good rapport with all those professionals up front, they know who you are working with. If you've connected them all together, sometimes they can take care of some of the stressful elements behind the scenes because they're all doing this on a regular basis. You don't want to be the man in the middle, the monkey in the middle, the broken telephone. If you get to know them all up front and you select them up front and you introduce them to one another, it'll make the process a lot smoother. So we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about how each of those can save you money if you're asking the right questions and choose them in the right way. Then we're going to move into phase 3, which is really about house hunting, finding properties you like, putting in lots of offers, going through the negotiation. And this is the phase where, some of you may be eager to jump into, and don't worry, we're gonna get there. And you can watch all those videos as many times as you want as well. But really ensuring that you know how that process is going to go, especially if you are putting in offers in a hotter market where properties are in fact going a lot faster or there's bidding wars. It can be really, really stressful. So knowing what to expect up front is gonna make a big, big difference. You'll be like, when something happens, you're like, yeah, I knew that was coming. It's gonna feel a little bit different than if you're like, shoot, what was that? Why was that caught off guard? Why didn't I have what it is that I needed to have? And so that's gonna really allow you to feel a lot more confident, be the boss, and be in control of the situation, knowing what in fact is coming next. Module 5 is going to focus on house hunting and searching and putting in offers and negotiation and all of that like heavy, intense stuff. By the time we get there, you'll be well prepared to handle that situation. Phase 4 is condition removal and closing. This is the part of the process that I find many first-time homebuyers completely underestimate. They think once I've found a property and I've got an accepted offer, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I am done. And that's actually not the case at all. After your offer is accepted, that's where we're actually gonna negotiate further. We're gonna do the home inspection. That's where you're gonna work through all of the different insurance options that you have. And that can be quite stressful if you don't know what you're doing. That's when you're actually going to select your mortgage and its terms. That's the time frame where you're gonna be getting together with your lawyer. You're gonna be signing all kinds of documents. We wanna make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, how this is gonna impact you, how you're gonna set up your property taxes. So we're gonna get into that phase when we get into Module 6. Now, I'll also tell you, just because I couldn't help myself and thinking about all of you guys and the fact that you are investing in yourself and taking the time to learn and be prepared shows me that you really do care about your financial future. So I've actually created a bonus module, which is going to be Module 7, which is basically home ownership and beyond. It's not a formal part of the course, but I thought if you spend so much time and energy getting prepared and really doing the best that you can throughout the process, I didn't want to leave you hanging the day you moved into your property. So Module 7, we're going to get into a little later on. It's about once you've already moved into your home and setting you up for financial success as you move through the rest of your life. Now, you may be anxious or excited to get to a specific part of the module or a specific part of the roadmap, but again, I'm highly going to recommend that even if you feel like, I've already done that, I've already covered this, that you go through the course in chronological order. You may not realize that there's a lot of things that you can do differently, and there are tips that I'm going to share with you from an investor's perspective that you may not have considered, so don't skip through the phases. Trust me, we're going to work through the roadmap one step at a time, explaining every single element and why you need to do it. Again, it's very important for me that you are in fact the boss and you know why it is that you're taking that particular step in that order. So I'm going to ask you to have a little faith and trust me that I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm guiding you through this in a way that's going to have you be set up for success and get you into the home of your dreams. We'll catch you in the next lesson.